What's up everybody, Brian with First Shot Tactical, back with another video for you here today. And today we are doing a quick unboxing and overview of my favorite AR or rifle setup flashlight here. This is the Surefire Scout Light Pro Turbo. Honestly, these are kind of tricky to find sometimes. You can typically find the Scout Light or the Scout Light Mini, but again, this is the Pro Turbo version of the Scout Light. We'll get into all the details here in a sec, but for now, let's get this unboxed and see what all comes with it. All right, going over everything that comes with it. They give you a little pamphlet of their other products, trying to get you to spend more money. We have a overview, kind of directions, install, everything you can do with it, which I'm about to show you anyway. Information about the battery that they use here, and important to not leave this on unattended because this guy gets really hot. So just be careful of that. And then we also get our Surefire sticker. Oh, yay, a sticker. We get a charging cord because the Surefire battery inside is rechargeable. We also have a different mount that we're gonna talk about. This is for M-LOK versus the quad rail or pick rail mount it comes on it. And then we also have a Allen wrench to, well, help put all that together. Last and most importantly is our flashlight, and this is the black version. They also have an FDE one. And to make sure this guy works here, typically they do give you the battery. I'm guessing it's just in it already. Yep, so we already have a battery in there. And before we put all this back together, the cool thing about the Surefire light is there's a lot of third-party companies out there that you can get different heads for. So if I remove the flashlight head, you can actually buy a different head. So if you want like a wider beam, more narrow, you can easily just swap that onto this body and use it. The other thing that you're gonna have is your battery, which you can see popping out right there. This is Surefire's battery. It's a 3.6 volt, 3500 milliamp, 12.6 watt, made in China battery there. And again, the big thing about this is when this battery's dead, do not throw it away, because look here guys, you have a little rechargeable spot. So you can use that. It looks like it's a micro USB, not USB-C, come on. So you just insert that into the battery, plug this into the wall, and you can recharge your battery. So that way you can continue to use it. Super nice, super convenient. Let's go ahead and put this guy back in here. To do that, the negative end, so the flat end here is gonna go to the rear, so where the tail cap is. We're gonna put our head back on the front here. And then we're gonna go ahead and put the tail cap. Same thing here with the body of this is, while they give you this click tail cap here, again, you can buy third-party aftermarket ones that are swappable here. Obviously, you can get pressure pads too that would go on the rear. Then you'd have a pad on top. So it's very versatile for whatever you need. You just gotta buy the right aftermarket pieces. One thing you don't need to buy aftermarket though is your adapter to mount this to your rifle. Out of the box, it comes with a pick rail adapter. So all you'd have to do is take a screwdriver here, loosen that screw right there like that. And then once you get it loose enough, you can put this on your pick rail. So like a quad rail if you have that, whether it be on top or on the side. And then once you get in the right spot, you're just gonna take that screwdriver and tighten that down to your rail. The other option you have in the baggie over here, I guess I could have used the knife, that'd be much easier, is you can use the M-LOK adapter piece that also comes in the box. So to use this, all you'd have to do is take a flathead screwdriver, or the Allen wrench, I believe works in the center there, and you're going to loosen this piece all the way so that way we can take that adapter piece off. Pull that out, and then drop this piece here, and be careful because there is this rear piece and that might fall out. And that's basically the nut on the other side, so don't lose that. And now you can put your M-LOK piece back on, but the other thing to note here is you can put it on in this orientation. So if you had it mounted to the low bottom of your rail, or you can mount it the other way. So maybe you wanna put it in the upward orientation like this on your rifle, which is typically what I do. So just a heads up there, you can put this however you want, so that way you get the right angle on your setup as well. Once you have the right orientation selected, grab your screw back, pop this guy back into the hole, take your flathead screwdriver, secure it down. And the other thing to note is you can tighten that super tight so this doesn't wiggle at all. But what I'd recommend doing is leaving it just a little bit loose. So super tight, but then back it down a little bit. So that way it's still stiff like this, but then if needed, you can cant it just a little bit if you need to move it closer to your rail or further away. You're gonna have a little bit of play in order to adjust it. So just a heads up there, so that way you can make sure and get this mounted in the right spot for you. Other things to note right from the box or the spec sheet here, and the biggest reason why I love the Surefire Turbo Scout Light Pro is because of the high output candela. This is 100,000 candela output. And when you have a higher candela, what this means is you're gonna have a more narrow beam that can reach out further. So you're gonna have a very bright hot spot in the center versus some other flashlights that are not as high of candela. They're gonna be more of like a floodlight. So rather than a narrow focus beam, it's gonna be a widespread floodlight beam. You get 2.75 hours of runtime on the battery. And again, the battery is rechargeable. Other option, this is dual fuel. So you can use their battery. You could use just a traditional non-rechargeable battery, or you can actually use two of the, I believe it's the CR123A batteries, don't quote me on it, but you could use two of those stacked side by side in here in case you get in a pinch or if you like to use those instead. The turbo, that means the beam pattern. So I already explained that about this being not a floodlight where it's wide. It's narrow and puts a high candela out really far in a narrow beam. Other things to note, as I already discussed, you can cant that orientation how you see fit, swap between M-LOK or the pick rail. And then also on the inside, I discussed how it's very customizable. So if you pick up any of their pressure pads or some other third-party compatible ones, you can run any of those on this as well. And same thing for the head. But I think the whole point in buying the turbo version is for that high candela beam output. So I'm definitely keeping just this head on here. Next up, let's go down a dark hallway, compare this to some other flashlights, show you what the beam looks like. But before we do, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm also gonna pin in the video description a spreadsheet I put together, basically going over my ideal or recommended AR setup, including having this flashlight on it. So if you're looking to put together your first AR or need an idea for a new reliable AR, definitely recommend checking out that spreadsheet in the video description to help give you some ideas. All right, taking a look at the beam here. Sorry, it's daytime and I just tried to shut some doors, so it's not the darkest environment, but this is the Scout Light Pro Turbo that we just unboxed. Turning this on here, again, you can see a very bright hot spot in the center because this is that turbo focused beam that's gonna reach out super far. For a quick comparison, I have a Surefire X300 Ultra. Just to give you a little comparison here of the beam, when I turn the Ultra on here, you can see it's much more of a flood light there versus the Turbo. When I turn that on the left, dude, this thing just takes over. And yeah, it looks like my cat wants to be a part of it. I mean, showing it right there, you can see that you're gonna get a lot of whitewash there with the Turbo beam versus the Ultra. You can see that it's a lot less. But again, the benefit of this is that it's gonna reach out a lot further when compared to the Ultra. So depending on your application, some people do not like the turbos because they're gonna be doing a lot of CQB like this. And as we saw here, when we pointed at the cat, we can see it just fine. Versus if we have the turbo, if we're going through like a CQB, we're like, oh, what color is that cat? It's kind of hard to tell because everything's washed out. For me though, I don't see this as a big deal here. I love running these turbos because you can reach out further. But again, it's up to you deciding what's best for you. Hopefully this was helpful. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.